Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Dylan LeClaire bringing this up. So, apparently the World Economic Forum is listed as one of Celsius's creditors. You can't make this stuff up, guys. World Economic Forum here listed as in the bankruptcy case against Celsius. Now, you know Celsius did file for bankruptcy under, I think it's Chapter 11. And so, look at that. The World Economic Forum here listed as one of their creditors. So clearly the World Economic Forum did invest in Celsius and now wants their money back. Just thought I'd bring that up as a point of interest, guys. Crypto Eddie here also bringing this up with regards to Ripple doing some reorganization along with a name change for their UK entity, and this was effective on August the 1st. So the people listed here, Brad Garlinghouse, of course, Chris Larson, and Mr. Samir Dond. These are the people. I guess Chris Larson is no longer going to have anything to do with the UK office. Nevertheless, Brad Garlinghouse still there, listed as an executive or a business executive, the director here. But here's the file copy. Okay, certificate of incorporation on change of name. They were going from Ripple Europe Limited, a company incorporated as private limited by shares having its registered office situated in England and Wales, has changed its name to Ripple Markets UK Limited. So it sounds as though, I mean, this is how I'm reading into this, that they had the name as Ripple Europe Limited back when they first registered the company, okay? But since then, Ripple has expanded into more countries in Europe, and of course, they do have a prominent existence in the UK as well. So I have a feeling that it's just a matter of, the fact that they're expanding so much in Europe, they probably wanted to differentiate now from their Europe offices to their UK offices. This to me really signifies growth in that region of the world. So interesting news there. Wanted to thank Crypto Eddie for bringing that up. Ripple has been an active company in London, incorporated since April of 2016. So some interesting news there. I wanted to thank Crypto Eddie just for bringing that up. And to switch gears, guys, a little bit with regards to VChain news. We've been hearing a lot more about VChain as of late. The Cryptic Poet posted this. Atwood Import and Export launches VChain Thor blockchain security sticker to guarantee authenticity on luxury beverages. So a new use case here, NFC-enabled sticker to verify origin and authenticity of Johnny Walker, Hennessy, Terrazaz, and Moet and Chandon, or Chandon, bottles with a simple scan of the smartphone. As they mention here, with the impact of the beer flu pandemic slowly fading, many economies are witnessing a sharp rebound in customer demand, especially for high-quality luxury goods. During this resurgence, the inefficiencies of traditional logistics models have become starker than ever, with cases of fraud skyrocketing, especially in developing economies. So this is what VChain actually combats against quite well. VChain Thor, the world's leading enterprise-grade public blockchain, was conceived specifically to resolve trust gaps in data. And this blockchain creates a level playing field where any party can review the claim of another independently, removing the need for intermediaries. And so in this case, guys, they are looking to crack down on, counterfeit booze, as a lot of, or some developing countries have seen a surge in. Atwood Import and Export, recognized as the largest premium alcoholic beverage importer and distributor in Cambodia, recently announced the implementation of an entirely new kind of security sticker built using the VChain Thor blockchain, the NFC-enabled Atwood blockchain sticker. Mr. David Wang, General Manager of VChain Tech SEA, attended the launch ceremony back on July the 27th, an event attended by various major Cambodian news outlets. Atwood Import Export is a leading company that has exclusively imported and distributed luxury brands, and I mentioned some of them earlier. By applying ABS to each bottle of product, Atwood enhances its liquor distribution capabilities drastically, improves transparency, and guarantees product authenticity to partners and consumers. With key data hashed on the blockchain, salient product information becomes immutable and trustworthy, allowing clients and customers to verify the origin and authenticity of products with a simple scan of the smartphone, preventing fraud and protecting customers. So basically, wherever there is going to be inefficiencies and the potential for counterfeit, this is where VChain comes in handy, in this case, thwarting criminals against counterfeited booze, namely some of these bigger luxury brands, because I guess there's a market for that. So another partnership for VChain. Great news here. Wanted to thank the Cryptic Poet for posting that. Also wanted to mention this, guys. Ian Binns posted this tweet on Twitter. Ripple hints at Ethereum virtual machine-powered sidechain. So from the tech side, Ripple X software engineer Mayuka Vadari hinted that Ripple was working on Ethereum virtual machine-powered sidechains during a recent Ripple Drop episode, which is linked here in this article if you guys want to check that out. We're also working on EVM-based sidechains that will allow people to basically use Solidity smart contracts, but still within the XRP ledger ecosystem. We're working on adding support for sidechains to the XRP ledger, and that will allow people to essentially add custom functionalities to the XRP ledger via sidechains. They can write their own sidechains and have whatever special features that they need or want, and basically have their own blockchain to play around with. And they don't need to worry about needing to somehow make a bridge because that's already built into what we are doing. So a new development on the XRPL, EVM-powered sidechains could bring Ethereum-powered smart contracts to the XRP ledger. Everything from DeFi to gaming ecosystems could exist on a federated sidechain featuring the low fees and fast transactions found on the XRPL. So this sounds like big competition for Ethereum. Vidari also hinted at the future of interoperability between chains, and this is obviously what Ripple has been touting since the beginning. The fact that their ledger is so interoperable. The objective of interoperability is how do we have it all? How can we use our value in all these different ways without needing to have these siloed ecosystems? Without interoperability, all of these different blockchains will be siloed ecosystems, and so you can't really move your value around very easily. But with interoperability, you can move that value around. You could store some of it in a brand new experimental DeFi protocol on Ethereum. You can move it to something similar to the XRP ledger that's more designed for payments. And then you cannot have to worry about your gas fees and send a bunch of payments out. So one of the big pain points, obviously, for the Ethereum blockchain is the gas fees. They get so expensive. But if you're using the XRPL, it's fractions of pennies to conduct the same types of transactions. In contrast, Vitalik Buterin argued that the future will be multi-chain rather than cross-chain. Buterin stated that bridges which hop across multiple zones of sovereignty are hamstrung by fundamental security limitations. And so there's just a tweet here from Vitalik from back in January, my argument for why the future will be multi-chain, but it will not be cross-chain. There are fundamental limits to the security of bridges that hop across multiple zones of sovereignty. So Vidari seems to be questioning this. Again, with more developments on the XRPL, it sounds as though that, Ethereum is now in direct competition with the XRP ledger, the ledger that not only wants to move all the money, but, perform a lot of different activities as more developers are building on it. RippleX, again, the software engineering branch of Ripple that is funded by Ripple and, many of the initiatives that are going to improve the XRP ledger and add value to the ledger, which ultimately means more value driven to the XRP token. More demand for the XRP token means that we will eventually see a higher price. So with regards to this, it sounds as though, the XRP ledger is becoming a force to be reckoned with. And as it grows and as it builds, I think this is getting a lot of people worried, especially, not just the competition, okay? So not only should the folks over there at Ethereum be worried, but the politicians and the ones that have a vested interest in keeping the status quo. And so I'm going to get back to this point in a second, guys. But first I wanted to bring up another story. It does relate to what I was just talking about here. Michael Branch bringing this up. The SEC wants to probe every crypto exchange operating in the United States. So 2 bills have been submitted proposing that the CFTC regulates cryptocurrency. The SEC is using enforcement and non-standard practices to cripple crypto firms. So this news report from beingcrypto.com. The SEC is investigating Coinbase, the country's largest exchange, and has also set its sights on global giant Binance, according to Cynthia Loomis's office staff. Both Coinbase and Binance have bent over backwards to appease regulators, with the latter operating a separate division, Binance.us, with limited services to American customers. But apparently this is still not enough for the SEC, whereas the more crypto-friendly regulator, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, is more likely to adopt an approach that is not based on enforcement and lawsuits. And so here's the latest, guys. Every U.S. cryptocurrency exchange is in various stages of being investigated by the SEC. That is something that Gary Gensler has likely chosen because of the way the Ripple SEC case has been going. Can we find another avenue to sue these guys and to regulate by enforcement rather than have a clear set of rules that would allow the crypto industry to adopt and to be able to innovate freely? Well, it sounds as though Gary Gensler wants to squash innovation in the United States, at least in the crypto industry. So let me continue. Nevertheless, crypto assets have yet to be officially classified as securities, so the SEC is technically operating beyond its jurisdiction. Some people are already pointing this out. This was alluded by Republican Senator Tom Emmer, who said last month that the agency and its anti-crypto chair Gary Gensler were hell-bent on expanding the size of its crypto enforcement division, using enforcement to unconstitutionally expand its jurisdiction. But there is a ray of hope. The SEC urgently wants to resolve its dispute with the CFTC over crypto jurisdiction, according according to the official who was not named. If the matter isn't resolved internally, legislators would have to get involved, and the Congress is likely to side with the CFTC. So the CFTC, it sounds as though, has been a lot more reasonable, I think, with regards to crypto regulation. And regulators, or rather, not regulators, politicians are, I feel like they are moving in that direction. I feel like they want all this to kind of be handed over to the CFTC. The SEC has obviously been creating a show out of this. So 2 bills have been introduced recently to give the CFTC more jurisdiction over cryptocurrencies. However, the officials said that there was less than a 50% chance of either being passed this year. The Lummis-Gillibrand bill was submitted on June 7th, and the Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act was announced this week. So because Gary Gensler and the SEC has, kind of gone on the record and said, we want to formally look into all these cryptocurrency exchanges, now politicians are acting. So is this something that Gary Gensler and the folks over there at the SEC have devised in order to attack Ripple in a different way? Remember, I was talking about the XRP ledger and how all these different applications now are being built. Like, for example, the federated sidechains now going up against the Ethereum virtual machine. Bill at Belisarius 2020 also brought up a good comment here. Many people can now clearly see that the SEC's attempt to control crypto has at least 2 fronts: the regulation by enforcement lawsuits against Ripple and Library, and more to come soon, and the pressure placed on crypto exchanges to submit to the SEC. So there is a further front that is achieving little attention. This may be the backdoor strategy. I refer to the SEC's proposed change to the definition of exchange under the Securities Act. So the SEC even changed the definition of an exchange under the Securities Act to be able to actually go after more of these crypto exchanges. The SEC has proposed a rule that it is intended to expand the definition of the exchange under this rule of the Securities Act. I've read the article from a number of attorneys that asserts that although the expanded definition does not specifically refer to decentralized finance or digital assets, it could include DEXs and automated market makers. So here is where it gets a little tricky, and I think there is a possibility that it actually could affect the XRPL, maybe. So he goes on to talk about this article. I'm going to talk about that in a second, by the way. He goes on, though, he states that this proposal will likely cause further regulatory uncertainty for digital assets until the SEC gives clarity. We know how the SEC loves using regulatory uncertainty to its benefit. How is this important to XRP? Well, the XRP is the oldest decentralized exchange. It is built into a layer 1 protocol. Anyone with a Sum wallet knows how easy it is to swap XRP for other tokens on the XRP ledger. Further, the XLS 30D proposal would add an automated market maker, or an AMM, to the XRPL decentralized exchange. In 2 senses, then the XRPL could fall within the SEC's proposed expanded definition of an exchange. What happens if XRP is found by the court not to be a security, but the XRPL falls within the definition of an exchange? I wonder whether these considerations may be complicating a settlement between Ripple and the SEC, and not the status of XRP. So a very interesting observation here by Bill at Belisarius 2020. He continues by saying, not sure it pressures the exchanges, but it may explain the SEC's delays in the Ripple case. The SEC may expect to lose and wants to delay an adverse result until it pressures the exchanges to obtain a settlement. So again, Bill pointing out some interesting points. We may not be seeing a settlement because of this particular intricacy in the case. Imagine how a Ripple win could relieve pressure on Coinbase, for example. Moon Lambo also having that same question, would love additional insight on what this may mean for the XRP Ledger's decentralized exchange. If centralized exchanges must register with the SEC, what about decentralized exchanges? Will they be allowed to exist? So to that point here, and to Bill's original thesis or theory about decentralized exchanges, there's already precedent. So the SEC still expects a founder or some party to register a DEX as an exchange, a decentralized exchange, as a typical regular exchange. This is not a new position. See exact in reference to the founder of the DEX, Ether Delta, who was charged in 2018 with failing to register a DEX in violation of S5 of the Securities Exchange Act. So here it is. On November the 8th, the SEC announced that it settled charges against Zachary Coburn, founder of Ether Delta, a type of non-custodial digital asset trading platform commonly referred to as a decentralized exchange or DEX. Coburn was charged with causing EtherDelta to operate as an unregistered securities exchange in violation of Section 5 of the Securities Act during the period between July 12, 2016, the date Coburn launched EtherDelta's website, and December 15, 2017, the date Coburn ceased collecting fees from EtherDelta users following its sales to sovereign buyers. So there is a precedent for this as well. And I guess it begs the question, is this their sneaky way of trying to get Ripple without winning the court case in court? Bill continues by saying, I doubt Ripple wants to settle a case of selling unregistered securities only to be charged with operating an unregistered exchange. Here is a link to the matter with an administration proceedings. In this matter, way back in 2018, the SEC alleged that some ERC-20 tokens were securities consistent with the SEC versus Wahi case. And so he just highlights a point here and a link if you guys want to check that out. Entities behind crypto exchanges may be about to be sued not just for selling unregistered securities, but for operating unregistered exchanges. So is this the SEC's next move? And more importantly, have they been, toying with this idea behind the scenes as they were seeing the Ripple SEC case slip further and further from their winning grasp? Anders here chiming in on this. Seems like they're trying everything they can do to stop it. King Bowser here saying control. Yes, that's the purpose of regulation. No, I'm not going to read whether it's severe or not when Crypto falsely marketed itself as 100% secure and caused environmental harm in the form of GPU farms. So he's talking about a different issue here. Bill saying I'm not using control in this sense to mean regulate. I mean gaining jurisdiction over crypto regulation in competition with other agencies such as the CFTC. So let's not forget the CFTC could be throwing a bit of a wrench in the SEC's plan, not by their choice, but government. They're proposing bills to give the CFTC more authority. The SEC obviously not liking this. So now pivoting their strategy, perhaps now focusing specifically on all these crypto exchanges. And could this also mean, though, that their main target, the XRPL, could be deemed a decentralized exchange as per their definition? Remember also, they changed the definition of what an exchange is so that they can continue to target Ripple even if they lose the lawsuit. Something else that I just wanted to bring you guys, an old clip here from Digital Asset Buy. This is an older interview with Greg Kidd. One ledger for all the value in the world. This is how important the XRPL is, and I think the SEC knows it.
I remember when I was playing the poker game and somebody described what Ripple was to me, and I felt like Moses coming down and saying, well, there's this concept of a universal ledger, one ledger for all the value in the world, and it has both the new form of value, but it also has a representation of the old forms of value. And that sweeping statement and scope, I didn't think I was going to go back into the workforce. That's probably the last time in the last 20 or 30 years where I said, well, I got to go down and meet those guys and talk them into giving me a job because I want to be part of that grand experiment.
Even Greg Kidd was super excited to join Ripple based on his knowledge of what the XRPL could achieve. So would it be a surprise to you if Gary Gensler was creating such a fuss behind the scenes to target the XRPL specifically, a pain point for the SEC? It's a theory, just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.